Well, it's game number 3, tied up now 1-1. This is the first of 2 semifinals, and you're watching the Olimoleague. Spawning in the bottom left side of Dusk Towers, it's going to be the Red Terran player, Salvation, but his new name is Forte.
Whoopsie. In the top right, as the blue Zerg, it's Soulkey.
I get so many puns I want to make, like how Orena was not his forte, or the amount of mistakes you made last game was close to Forte. Like, I don't know.
Just the second one was going to be a lot more clever.
I don't love that he changed it. I thought Salvation was a cool name. It's like Scarlet changing her name to Shura. I get player names, and some people have talked especially about the mentality behind changing your name, being like a fresh new slate and all this, but at the end of the day, I'm like, Salvation was a cool freaking name.
I don't blame Scarlet when I change her name. I mean, no one wants a stripper name, you know?
But her name's Shura, which is
That's
Sasha.
not a stripper name.
Scarlet. Sasha is a stripper name.
I would
Scarlet's
say that
not.
Sasha and Scarlet are both, like, kind of stereotypical.
I would
really,
say
Scarlet is?
I would say Scarlet. Out of experience, Scarlet is not a stripper name, whereas Sasha is.
Okay. So figure on that topic. That went deeper than I purposed. Anyways.
That's what she said.
Anyways. Yeah, I don't know about Forte and Salvation. The thing is that Korea, at the very least, the Korean fan base uses their real names anyways. So, like, changing their online
Real
handle does not
names? What?
Right? What? Yeah, exactly. So the changing
they
like
would
their
call
handle
you-
is not nearly as bad.
They would. So they wouldn't call you Zombie Up. They would call you Jessica.
They would call me Jumbie Grub.
Cause you jumbo size. Wow, that's rude.
That's rude to myself. No, that's how Crank pronounces it.
I was gonna say you're not that big. You're actually quite fit. Like I don't know, man. Like jumbo. That's mean. That's ridiculous.
Anyways.
Maybe that guy was right. This is the cringe cast, and you're the one ruining it for once instead of me.
I'm trying to get away from this topic.
You're like, I'm flustered, Rifkin, and I don't know what to do. So let's just move on, okay? Whatever.
I'm just trying to give people information about scenes that are dying. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, you said it. Why did you say it?
Oh.
So this was brought up, and I forgot. Forte, excuse me, is actually streaming his first-person point of view on Azubu. Don't get a lot of Koreans who would be willing to stream their content nowadays, but it's pretty cool to see, so I'd 10 out of 10 recommend checking it out. I have never been able to get Azubu to work for me, though, and this really bothers me. I've tried with browsers that have ad block. I've tried with browsers that don't have ad block, because people say that's like the #1 reason. I can never get Azubu streams just never actually load for me. They just spin forever. It's really annoying.
Since adding a bunch of plugins to Chrome, yeah, it doesn't work for me either. But before it worked. I've
tried that on my
disabled it, like you
laptop.
said.
I've tried it here. I've
Yeah.
tried using fucking even Internet Explorer, and no luck.
Oh, wow. Clever.
If only
Have a go.
Azubu had the technology Ding it did, then everyone
It's
could
a
also not watch Azubu.
God, these mobile platforms are just so... They're angering everyone. They're contributing to the salt that's going to melt this snow.
Okay, so Hellions make sure to get to the main. They don't get stuck at the natural base. Scouting being the priority. They will see that Spire. This is fairly important because Soulkey is one of a small handful of Zergs right now who are actually not just trying to make Mutiling Bling work again, but they're actually making it work. Like, they're actually winning games with it.
It's pretty hard, but yeah, Soulkey is one of those guys that is getting away with it. It has to do a lot with just how the mid game is played, because that is where they're going to find the biggest problem if the Terran is, appropriately applying pressure. Afterwards, maxed out Ling Bling Muta is exactly the same as it was in Heart of the Swarm.
Right.
Maybe the remix isn't as big, but still.
Let's talk about a big part of why this has changed, though. We went over this in pretty big detail the other day in the cast, but like a TLDR is... Mineral income was increased with Legacy of the Void, especially with expanding, but gas income never changed. You don't have a third geyser on your base all of a sudden. It's still the same amount of gas income. So it's a lot easier to get Marines out, which are only mineral cost, opposed to Banelings, which require minerals and gas. And one of the worst, like the worst things is just coming up, you're like, great, I've got 20 Banelings, but they have 101 Marines.
It's actually going to be transferred into roaches, which is something that Soulkey does quite often as well. He can play like every single style that is available for Zerg right now. He has certainly played it and showcased his skill in it, including just sticking to Mutilating Bling, but this time it's going to be a transfer over. That's only going to be confirmed with the upgrade from the Evo chamber. We'll see if he has +1 melee or okay, yeah, +1 missile. There you go.
Damn it. So the bot's down as the report comes in for chat, and this looks like it's... Oh, it's back up, maybe? Question mark? I don't know. It was giving me that authentication error we had the other day, so I'm hoping that that's resolved now. But the Mutalisk command is like a handful of Widow Mines here. We'll get a shot or two off, maybe. Nope. The Marines have Stim, which is going to be good, but still no Combat Shields, so that kind of sucks. Combat Shields hasn't even begun yet, which really, really sucks. He's got the money for it, but he's distracted quite heavily, and I mean, the longer you delay Combat Shields, the more viable things like Mutas and Lings and, well, everything is. But this is interesting because Soulkey's not going for like this huge dedicated, melee upgrades, lots of banelings. He's gone for ranged weapon upgrades instead.
Right, he's going to transfer over, so the mutas are going to have a very limited, specific scope here. And if they die, well, then that sucks, but hopefully they don't die just by suiciding on something like Liberators. Oh, cool micro.
So it's not that Liberators deal a ton of damage versus mutas, but they just deal a lot of damage in an area of effect, which is one of the big aspects to them. So you can split your mutas, and I think a big problem we've seen a lot of Zerg players adapt to is actually you have to split really far. Thor splash damage is really tiny, so you don't have to split much, but Mutalisks, if they split far enough, can still take on Liberators. We've actually seen, and I'll give Soulkey credit for this, him once again being one of the few players who seems to know that new range. A lot of unpracticed Zerg players split the Mutalisks barely and still lose them all to Liberators in rather embarrassing fashion.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, and I think that is most of the reason why everyone is losing those Liberators. They're just not used to the that splash range. But the push is now commenced. It does have combat shields. It's actually rather perfectly timed. Army's on the way too, so the upgrade advantage is going to be here for Forte, but doesn't want to deal with roaches. Wasn't expecting roaches, potentially. Probably. Picks
up to walk away. But they can fly to the Mutalisks! Oh, dear.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be so... Well, he does get the second medevac on top of that high ground, so never mind. Boost is on cooldown, so of course the medevac's going to die.
Falling apart all over the place. As we see, Soulkey did split his mutas enough that we don't see splash damage coming in, but still, the numbers of the Mutalisks are too small to take that on. If those Liberators decide to siege up, they will be in danger from the Ravagers. Corsair Gear will take care of them in 3 shots pretty quickly, no less, but still pressing the attack.
Yeah, just speaking of numbers, that army supply, the supply in general, Soulkey's going to just roll over Forte.
Well, if the Liberators can get some amazing shots or the Ravagers miss... Yeah, this doesn't look good for Salvation. Losing those 2 medevacs worth of units, it's not just that that was a lot of supply, but that was meant to buy time. That was supposed to be dropped off in the natural base, making sure that Soulkey didn't get this particular push off.
This is... okay, a tank could do a lot of damage. Oh, he barely sees it. Especially if he gets on the ramp, but the ramp is getting broken. Soulkey is pushing through. Huge bank behind us, so in case this army dies, he has another one ready to go.
He's focusing a lot on the tank and ignoring a lot of that bio, so the Marines are doing a lot of damage to the Ravagers, which don't have a lot of health, but if the Ravagers are all gone, then yeah, the tank could actually save the day. That army supply count, though, still massively one-sided. The tank, unfortunately, now gone, and Sue's getting pulled, and I think that's going to wrap her up.
Yeah, I guess Soulkey is right now the comeback king. Just losing that first game and then not even caring. He warms up with every new series.
You don't know that he doesn't care, man. He probably cared a lot, and that's what drove him to play better and come back in the series. That loss really got to him, and I bet you it resonated in his soul, because a man's soul can never be underestimated.
There's a lot of things I want to say about those statements.
Because I said, man, you gonna pick that apart?
No,
I didn't conform to the gender binary. What's wrong? You want to fight about this? I got spit and fire
you want
in my
to,
belly.
But I was gonna say I used the word "like" for a reason.
Oh, so my hyperbole was not appreciated? Okay, whatever.
My hyperbole wasn't appreciated.
Mutalisk came out to deal with the Liberators. I admire Salvation's attempt to stay in this game. I think he's fully aware of how much he's lost and how little workers he has, but again, it's his last game. There's no losers bracket in the Olimoleague, and if he's out, he's out. Maybe that might be an option. Keep everything best of 3s, but do a losers bracket for the Olimoleagues in future days.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot you have no passion. My bad.
Yeah, that's what it means. No passion.
The Liberator gets some good splash damage, but unfortunately, it's just gonna get healed up. Attempts to drops on the right side, not gonna happen. No, yeah, double elimination will probably take a very long time with players who are not super amazing. Good tournament brackets in general. I still look at this and like, even with this best of 3, map 3 getting drawn out, we still have another best of 3 behind us, and it's still such a fast tournament today.
It definitely is. Well, Forte is really trying to drag it out, trying to go superhero mode, Super Saiyan mode of the drops, but it's not really happening. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to face a very, very large army, and the most you can hope for is them running into a choke with your tanks. So he's trying to get a wall up, he's trying to get the tanks in position, but well, there's not enough tanks and there's not enough of a wall.
I will say this much. If Salvation were to actually bring this back, this would be like one of the most epic comebacks. We refer to this game for the rest of the time, but even with the pickups dropping off, the mutalisks are a big issue. Turret's going to get some shots off. Maybe should go camp out around the turret, but unfortunately not doing so. Everything here getting broken fairly easily, and Soulkey, he doesn't care about the drop, but he's still going to clean it up.
They got an extractor. That's really gonna turn things around.
Maybe.
That gas.
Okay, so you know how MC's coaching State lately?
Yeah.
Maybe Fantasy is coaching Forte.
Fantasy, who just retired.
Well, I mean, that timing couldn't belong to anyone else.
That was hardly a fantasy GG, alright? That
that's like a half a fantasy riff game.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's like Fantasy's left hand GG, alright? Like.